make a living being a comedian because they saw Mike, and and they said just go to college to back yourself up. So I went to film school, and all I cared about in film school was making like funny films. And the teacher said to me, "I kind of think you're wasting your time because you're just funny, and you're not, and all you're doing is making funny films. You're not really like care about filmmaking." And the teacher really basically said, "Can you not come back? Because all you do is joke around all day, and and you're funny, but we're here to make films." And I told my parents that, and then I started being a stand-up comedian after that.
Right after that, and actually, that's exactly how I got into comedy. A buddy and I were making funny films, and we'd go down to the comedy club on open mic night to see, because we were making these little films and we were sending them to Saturday Night Live.
Oh, nice.
And they sucked, but we didn't know they sucked. We just thought Saturday Night Live just wasn't getting us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we thought, well, let's go down to the comedy club and do them as sketches to see if they're really funny or not.
And did they work?
Weren't. They weren't funny at all.
No, it didn't work.
And
I look back at old tapes of myself that I thought were funny back then, and I'm like, how did anyone not kill me when I first went on?
I tell comics that come through our comedy classes, I think that as comedians, would you agree that we have to have this false sense of great confidence to survive?
You have to think
business?
you're amazing.
We have to think we're amazing when we're really bad.
We get
booze.
Yeah, or alcohol, or cocaine.
Because how would
you
we
need a hand
survive?
job by any chance?
I don't have any cocaine.
Damn! All right,
Damn it. But Shannon
I'll
does
find
because
some,
he's
yeah.
a bluegrass singer. But yeah, I mean, if we knew in the beginning, I mean, that
I've looked back at my first Letterman set ever. I thought I killed, and I thought it was so funny. And now I look back at it, and I'm like, why was anybody? I was horrible. But you think you're better than you. But you're not as bad as you thought you were, but you're never as good as you thought you were. Does that make sense?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
I've always been good.
you're
Yeah, you've always been drunk. That's the difference.
right.
That's what I meant. That's what I call good.
Now,
I'm good.
Now, Michael. Now I don't know whether it's all the time because I just saw you once in Montreal and then all week here, but and this obviously complements Mitch's show, and he's the reason you're here. No, but you weren't very clean. I think there was no profanity in your act whatsoever.
Right.
Very clever
Right.
and
Very clever, yeah.
Yes, but very clever. Very clever, I would say. Clever fellow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a bonus beer today. A bonus beer.
Is that an inherent part of your personality that you go that way, or was that a business choice?
No, it's kind of who I am. I don't actually really curse much in life, and so when I started doing comedy, I just started talking about things that made me laugh and things that were funny to me. And because I wasn't normally a person who curses regularly, and you know, that kind of stuff made me laugh. As I said, when you grow up like Irish Catholic family, just everyone sharing stories, telling fun, that sort of was the energy and how I cut my teeth as a kid, humor-wise. So yeah, it just was a natural extension. I mean, I don't do a big over-the-top character. I'm not screaming. I'm just talking, and that's what makes me...
Fuck you, Mike. Seriously. You take a jab at me in the middle of the podcast?
Now, and of course, Mitch, your show is entirely on
I guess
sex.
I'm a character, Les. Some say over the top.
Is that an extension of your personality? And in all seriousn's,
Ladies and gentlemen, last time you'll ever see Mike Sommerville.
Every 7 years.
You'll see him in Montreal in another 6 years.
That's the reason we do this, is to break these little teams up.
I think it worked.
But your show is driven by sexuality.
Right.
Is that an extension of your personality, or was that a business decision?
Some people like to do a show where they don't write jokes. I personally like funny stuff, so I like the sound of laughter. Some of us don't need it, apparently.
My cheeks hurt.
Yeah, I always loved girls. When I was a little boy. When I was a little boy, I never went through that phase where you're supposed to hate little girls. Like, you know, like I always thought girls were, I was in awe of them. And all I ever
I'm with you on that.
all I ever cared about was making the girls like me,
Yes.
and I always wanted to touch them. So,
That could have been.
well, I was at that age where I was allowed to, and
okay.
and then jail taught me there's a difference between when you're supposed to. So,
Right.
But so when I started doing comedy, like who I am on stage just kind of came out really very organically. Like I just started talking about the thing that was most exciting to me, which was girls. I was always in awe of them, and I started out kind of being more talking about how in awe of women I was. And then, of course, now I'm in a relationship, so I started talking more about that. So it was always when I started writing. I think Mike says organically that's who he was. You know, I used to be embarrassed to admit that the reason why I got into show business was because I wanted to get girls. But then I saw Billy Joel in an interview, and they asked him why he started playing piano, and Billy Joel said to get girls. He just said that's what he knew he was good at. And so I started to admit that, like, well, that's really kind of what I wanted, was girls to like me. I always wanted girls to like me. And now I just want Mike to like me, which is impossible. And so that's where my act started
I got into the business just to watch you get girls. So that was kind of a weird twist for me.
Now, when your particular style, and I've watched it kind of myself evolve a little bit over the past 8 years or so since you've been coming here.
Right.
But I think when I first saw you, that character that is talking about sex and talking about women and knowing all about women, but so innocent, so boyish, really. And then also that whisper.
Can I sit in your lap?
Yes, you can. That whisper that you go into.
Yeah, the creepy
Where did
whisper.
that come from?
It's all organic. It's just natural. I never planned it out. I knew this. I knew that a guy can talk about women and sex as long as it's coming from a good place and they don't seem disgusting and sleazy. And so, you know, is everybody here familiar with the Craig Kilborn show? Remember Craig Kilborn by any chance? Like, he's kind of a sleazy dude. And I did his show once, and I do a joke. I used to do a joke about how I didn't like strip clubs. Something about how I didn't like girls to do lap dances or something. And so I went on the Craig Kilborn show, and I told the joke. And in the middle of the commercial break, Craig Kilborn looked over at me, and he reached over and he goes like this, "I like the titty stuff." And that just creeped me out so much that I was like, that's exactly who I don't want to be, that guy who says, like, "I like the titty stuff."
Les said that to me before. That was
But with a southern accent.
sounds better.
So it sounds better.
So I always felt that, like, if it comes from a place of, like, not being mean or hateful, like, I think people can tell that my angle is more that I just adore women, and I'm not in any way feeling any kind of, like, you know, resentment or anger. And
it comes across that way.
Yeah.
And I think I noticed that, even more so this time. And last time you were here, you're just getting in a serious relationship with Jessica. You've been together for about a year. Now you're engaged. You're going to be married soon. But this time, your show, your delivery has a little more maturity to it in just the way your voice is.
I'm turning into a young man, Les.
Okay, that's good.
Baby steps.
But is that noticeable to you?
No, I just feel more real on stage now. I mean, I think that for a while when I was with Jess, I started thinking that I was going to not admit that I was in a relationship and I'm going to be married in 6 months, and I thought I won't wear my ring on stage because it'll ruin who I am. And then I said to myself, if you're really talented, a real comedian talks about where their life is at that point and can be funny at each new point. And there was a time where I had to realize, well, now I'm growing up. And so I've been in the business for 20 years. So I was like, now I have to get to the next step where all of a sudden I can't be a kid all the time. Right. And I had to get to the point. So it was very hard for me to start to talk about Jessica on stage and talk about the fact that I was engaged and stuff. And I thought, well, if I'm really talented, then I'll be able to make that funny. Mm-hmm. And I think I've been doing that.
And who encouraged you actually to kind of go along?
Les McCurdy.
No, I seem to remember someone else sort of encouraging.
Not Shannon? No. Mike, are you married?
No respect, no.
No. Engaged?
No, sir.
He just cuddles with Jessica back in the green room when
he's on stage. I'm with the fiance in the green
So
room.
single out there going.
Single, yeah. Well, actually, I'm dating somebody now. As I said in my act, I am seeing somebody. But it's a tough life. You're on the road 4 or 5 days a week, as you well know. It's inconsistent money. It's all these things, and so yeah, it's tough to really like look someone in the eyes and be like, "Come with me. You're gonna be okay."
Well, absolutely. And I think that's a point back to you, Mitch, is that getting married soon.
Yep.
I know that right now, from talking to you guys, it seems like it's very fun that Jessica can be on the road with you and that kind of thing. But of course, that can get
she goes on the road with me about once a month, and then and now I'm getting to the point where now I have to branch out and do other stuff. Like we're selling a reality show to Showtime and stuff. So that way we can work together more, and I can see her more because you have to make sure that you put enough time into your relationship as well. Absolutely. Or that's why so many show business relationships don't work out, is people forget that should be the most important thing in the world.
Well, it is, and I think that was
everybody.
That was something that Pam and I, when we first got married, and we'll be 25 years this year.
Hey!
But the thing is,
nobody gives a shit. What the hell's going on with this place?
Have you met Pam, his wife? Beautiful and great kisser too. I don't know if you. Shh. What? Oh.
No, they know. They know.
But yeah, I think that's the thing is that I see that is hard with relationships is when you're on the road half the year and you're away from each other that much time. It's hard to.
Isn't that you told me once that's why you thought to open a club, is you'd been a stand-up comedian and you wanted more stability to take care of your family as well.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to be on the road more. I didn't want to be away from Pam more than I enjoyed.
And Rodney Dangerfield as well opened in the same reason in New York. You wanted to be closer to home.
To be with the family.
With his wife.
Otherwise, I'd be famous like you guys.
If you're aspiring to be where I am, you're not thinking very high.
He said I was famous.
You're not famous.
Now, and if you want to bring the house lights up just a little bit, be glad to open up if there's any questions from someone in the audience. You just want to raise your hand. I'll repeat the question so people on the web can hear it. But yes, right here.
127 sale he did. I want him to tell us about that.
About the 127 sale.
You went on through Tennessee.
Oh, the garage sale thing.
Oh, the Tonight Show thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Jay Leno sucks when I'm not on that show. They did the world's largest yard sale. That was the worst week of my entire life. It seriously was. That was the proudest I've ever been of myself, that I made a garage sale funny. It was the stupidest thing I'd ever.
You were on Leno? What happened?
Yeah, Leno called me up and they're doing the world's largest garage sale.
Okay.
And it was like miles and miles of just garage sales, and just so you'd walk in and be like, "What shit do you have for sale?" And they'd be like, "A quilt," and you'd be like, "It's a quilt." Like you wouldn't even. And I was like, and they somehow culled together 5 minutes of material from like 8 days of taping stuff.
And it's the most important thing that's happened in his life.
Yes.
Yeah, let's bring him out now. We have him here. Let's bring the fat man in the dress out.
That was a part of it. For people aren't familiar with this, Mitch was a regular correspondent on the Tonight Show and did 5 or 6 of Dave Chappelle did it for a while. You did
I did 20 of them.
You did 20 of them. Yeah. Wow, how come I only have 6?
Yeah, well, you got to pay for them, Les.
I guess so. Damn it. Damn it, 6 free, and that was it.
That's it.
You get the 6-pack free, and then bingo, you got to pay. But I tell you, you are gifted at finding really the humor in kind of mundane situations.
And one of the things I learned about show business is, what the people see at home is a 5-minute clip. And there's a 5 or 6 minute clip from hours and hours of shit that's not funny.
Right.
That you just there's so much stuff where you go over and you're like, and what about this? And he goes like, what about that? And what about that? And it's nothing funny. And then you get that one moment.
Right.
And you just try to cull together, at least 10 or 15 of those moments to make that piece. But there's hours and hours of stuff that just doesn't work.
You, and I think it helps when you're a smaller person to be able to get away with it.
Fuck you, Les.
No, I'm just saying this.
What the hell's the matter
I'm
with
small
you?
too. I'm small. I'm with you.
It's like Gulliver's Travels up here.
But
you have a ukulele I can hit him over the head with?
carry you both
Sometimes you
off.
ask questions that are very like, almost get punched.
Yeah,
kind of question.
I guess being 5'5" has helped me throughout that because I still appear somewhat childlike, and I think they are fearful that they'll be put in jail for hitting me.
Because you've done it with professional athletes, and you've had some that looked at you like they wanted to kill you.
The worst I ever did was Tony Parker, who is a basketball player for the San Antonio Spurs. He's from France. And I said to him, is it true you're from France? And he said, yes. I said, so does that mean you quit in the middle of the game sometimes? and Tony Parker just stared at me for a minute, and then was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I mean, I'm going to leave now.
Another question?
Q&A.
I saw somebody else raise a hand. No? Yes?
Over here?
Oh, the reality show.
Well,
what's that about?
Okay.
Can you say?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
So Jessica is a bisexual, and
Confirmed. I wasn't the woman or anything. I was just saying.
And you're not.
And we're
I'm a Christian.
we're selling a show where we're going to be going across the country, going to all kinds of different sex events, and we're going to participate in them instead of just like, for instance, like we'll go to a foot fetish convention, and we're going to go to a nudist colony, and you'll be able to see me nude, Mike. And finally, you can stop trying to get me drunk. And so it's real sex, the show with a real couple that are willing to engage in all the activities and stuff.
Not all the activities.
Oh, all the activities. Yeah.
But you're not bisexual.
No, I am not bisexual. Unless they'll pay me a lot of money, I will then be bisexual.
Oh. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
If I can get enough money for my contract.
Has anybody got any cocaine?
Yeah. Really? Anyone?
A couple people actually started to raise their hand. I saw a couple people.
Wow, nobody here from 1983.
I do not, by the way, that's just a joke. I don't do cocaine. I shoot heroin. That's good, but I don't.
Yeah, once you start that.
The hard stuff I stay away from.
Yeah. Another question? Was there anything else?
How you met your wife?
How did you meet your wife? Wow. Should Michael answer that first?
I was there.
You were there?
I was there.
Well, let's hear your version.
He was there.
My first date ever with Mitch, and we were working in Texas.
Addison, Texas.
And so we always do a show. We get hanging out and meet and greet afterwards. And
I'm so shy when I'm off stage. I hate talking about
He gets totally shy. Like, oh my god! And I come up and he's glowing. His face is lit up like a Christmas tree. I'm like, what? How is this? Like, what happened? And go ahead. So these girls came up.
Well, I used to do a joke in my act that one of the things that I had never done that had always been a fantasy of mine. And it was just a joke. I'd done a joke about how I'd never had a threesome. And, well, there you go. That's basically the story. I did a joke, and Jessica was there with her best friend, Heather. And Jessica's husband had just walked out on her 5 days ago. That's how I met Mike, actually. Mike, and Jessica's husband had just walked out on her. And she wanted to, as she says it, I wish she was here to talk about this now, assert her autonomy. So she turned to her friend Heather and she said, he's cute, let's just blow his mind and give him a threesome. And
audience members came to a show, just happened to see him.
And so she said to me after the show, do you want to have your first threesome? And Jessica wasn't looking for a relationship, and we went back to her house, and she had a hot tub.
Can I jump in real quickly? He had told me Mitch doesn't want to hang out after shows. He wants to go home. He wants to write. He wants to listen to the show, work on his notes, get a good sleep.
Sure.
I swear to God, it's weird, but he does. Well, for the first night, he said, we'll hang out. It was Thursday night. Right. NFL football was starting. He's like, we'll get some Subway sandwiches. We'll go back to a hotel room. We'll watch the game. This is funny, though. They enjoy this kind of detail. And so... Right? So he comes back for the first time. Like, I loved him. I thought he was great, but he never wanted to hang out. And the first time ever, he was hanging out. And we get our Subway sandwiches. The NFL game starts. We take a bite, and his text message goes off.
The text message goes, I'm serious. If you want a threesome, we'll come pick you up now. And I just turned to Mike, and I said, I got a shower.
I got a shower. The first thing is, and I was so excited. I had my buddy for the night. We were going to watch games. And next thing you know, I'm just sitting there with 2-foot-long Subway sandwiches.
Knowing what he was doing.
Yeah.
Showering.
He was gone for the weekend. He never stayed in the hotel for the rest of the weekend. He was supposed to bring
now,
me to the
Mike,
airport.
have you ever had a similar experience?
I am thrilled if I get a twosome. Usually it's just a onesome, so yeah, it is.
You're still working on that twosome, right?
Anything more than one, I'm a happy camper.
No.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Maybe you should ask.
Yeah, you know,
Maybe that's the key.
I don't know. I just.
Other question?
Catholic.
Anything at all? And we got it wrapped up. All right, last question, and I've asked this of everybody, and you might answer and you might go, no, nothing. What's the great bit you haven't written? And that would be, is there something in your personal life or something globally, something that maybe that disturbs you or that super excites you or something you'd like to enlighten people to? Is there something in there that runs through your head that go, oh, that would be great if that's something I'm really passionate about that I just haven't quite put together
I'll do
yet?
Mike first.
You know, my answer is I don't know. Having listened to more experienced comedians and experienced my own, I'm doing this 12 years. I don't know if you've ever written the best bit because you think you've written it, you love it, and you love it for a little while, and you keep fixing it and making it
And I'm
better.
not really saying the best bit. I'm just saying one that maybe is running through your head that you would love to. Boy, I'd love to write about.
I want to write a bit about the fact that my sheets are my curtains, but I don't know how to make it funny.
It's one of my jokes, and he always makes fun of it.
I
did
don't know
it
how
tonight,
to
and they laughed. By the
That
way,
would be
they
good.
laughed.
Oh, you have a bit like
Yeah,
that?
I think-
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's more like a story.
You know, come to think
It's
of
like
it,
a
I
story.
have written the perfect bit. My sheets are my curtains. I don't know why I didn't retire after that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mitch and Mike will be right outside.
Thanks, guys.
See them right after. I'll stay and close it out, and you guys can do that. Thank you, guys.